These are some of the craziest roads in the entire world.
Junctions are more like animal stampedes in the wild. Cars just pull out in front of moving traffic. There's people walking at the sides of busy roads, and there's motorbikes everywhere you look.
To voluntarily take part in this madness? Well, you'd have to be an idiot.
Xin chào, hey, do you rent motorbikes?
Hi, my name's Dan. I'll be your idiot for the day. It's been a few years since I've ridden in any traffic like this, so it's going to be a little bit fun. I've got a list of about 3 things that I want to go and see while I'm in the city. But first I should probably get a feel for the traffic again. Okay, now I've had a few minutes on the road. I'll give you a quick review of the bike. It's made by a company that I've never heard of. Speedometer doesn't work, it's just kind of bouncing between 120 and 130. I therefore have no idea if the fuel gauge works. The left-hand handlebar is way too small and my hand kind of slips off the edge. On the right-hand side, the handlebar is big enough, but the brake bar is bent from where it's been crashed and it's therefore missing the mirror on the right as well. Also, because I'm so tall, when I'm riding, I have to kind of ride with my legs spread. Otherwise, my knees reach right up to the handlebars and then I can't turn, which I learned to my error on the first time I did the roundabout here.
I'll have more on the ridiculous roads later on.
So now I'm going to head back to the hostel and meet up with another British lad called Rich. Hey guys, he's going to be joining me on the bike today. We were going to get a second one, but they ran out, so 2 smallish British lads.
Yeah. With lovely pink helmets.
Oh yeah, both of us with pink.
We're going biking.
Our aim was to drive about 2 hours out of town to a place called the Coochie Tunnels. These were used by the Viet Cong soldiers during the Vietnam War, but about 30 minutes in, we encountered a slight problem.
Look at that. My shirt is clinging to me. This just came out of nowhere, right?
Absolutely nowhere. Absolutely great.
Once the rain had settled, slightly, we carried on, and about 90 minutes later we made it.
Okay, so we think we've arrived. I kind of feel like we're just in the middle of a forest, and I mean, not that you would see them, but I don't see any tunnels.
No.
Near the entrance to the tunnels, there was a collection of weapons and equipment used during the war.
So this plane is a C-130. It was used to carry troops and supplies in the 70s era of the war. The Americans actually gave some to Vietnam, and this is one of them which they recovered. And frankly, it's absolutely huge. See how thick this metal is right here? That's the damage that can be done by, I assume would be another tank shell. Doesn't really show up on the camera because it's 2D, but that would hurt. In total, there's over 250 kilometers of tunnels, but only about half of them have been preserved for us to go and see today.
We found the entrance to the tunnels in the middle of a forest, where we were greeted by a video that was a little bit hard to follow.
We're all taken by the Coochie fighters.
We didn't realise our ticket included a tour, but after we met our guide, Tang, we were very happy that it did. After a quick safety briefing about the 1 meter tall tunnels,
If you have any health problem, especially asthma or high blood pressure, shouldn't go down here for your safety.
we went inside for the first time.
I'm literally on my hands and knees now.
The tunnels were there to link together underground rooms that served different functions. For example, this room was a well.
About 15 meters deep. Hello.
Hello.
It's my big it, guys.
There were some other rooms too, with a hospital, a meeting room,
Of the red arrows.
and an underground bunker to shoot outwards at the enemy that had a pretty interesting entrance.
Coochie fighters.
What, a person got in there?
Right. It's made for Vietnamese, you know. Even the soldiers that sounded shorter than me, skinny, they didn't have much to eat.
And then to my amazement, all 6 foot something of Rich proved it was possible.
Got it.
Oh. Get through it. See you in Cambodia.
Then it was my turn, with a slightly larger entrance.
Yeah, of course. Oh my word, it's kind of crazy.
I got covered in mud, but I made it through.
I'm honestly surprised I fit in there. I'm really surprised.
And before we left, there were a few other things to see on the surface too.
So this is a ventilation hole. It's a small tube that feeds into the main system.
Wait into the massage room. Put the bamboo spice sticks down.
Tang explained that not only would the booby traps slow the Americans down, but also hearing the cries for help from whoever fell into it would alert them to the presence of the enemy.
The fighters, they have more time to reorganize, how to attack them.
And there was an assortment of other booby traps by the exit, each looking far more painful than the last.
It feels weird to have a gift shop at the end of all of that, but where there's tourism. Some of this artwork's amazing.
These are models made out of bullets.
So we just paid for parking, 6,000 dong, or 20 pence for parking.
We got going again on the bike for all of a few minutes before we reached a small town and stopped at a local restaurant to have some of the most amazing pho ever.
Wow, that literally came within 2 minutes, but it looks delicious. It smells great. Two completely empty bowls later, that's probably the best pho I've ever had. So good, delicious.
And just when we thought it couldn't get any better,
When we just asked her the price, she held up 6 fingers, which we assumed meant 60,000, and we kind of pointed to each bowl, like 60, 60. But then I handed her 60 and she was like, no, that's it. So 30,000 baht each. So literally £1. And it was amazing. So good. It was amazing. We should come out of the city more.
after the weather had settled, I wanted to check out a local market, which comes with a quick disclaimer.
Okay, now fair warning, if you're squeamish or you don't like the sight of dead animals, you might want to skip forward a minute or so.
Judging by how busy it was and how few supermarkets I've seen, this appeared to be Vietnam's equivalent of Tesco.
There's crabs, there's frogs, there's fish, all of them still alive.
Hello, crab. I hereby name you Carlos.
Well, I say all of them. Some of them. And everything is literally prepared right in front of you.
Away from all of the blood, the fruit and veg section of the market was actually very colourful.
And as with a lot of things here, it's a bit too small for me.
So of course, I decided to get on something else that was too small for me. And the chaos was about to swallow me up again.
So in many ways, riding on these roads, it kind of feels like a challenge more than it does a means of transport or getting around. So in that spirit, as I drive about, let me show you a few of those different challenges. Firstly, we've got the roundabout. So roundabouts kind of feel like a free-for-all by design. There's always stuff going on it. It's a constant flow. There's never a gap in the traffic, and so you just go flying in, kind of just join the madness. There's people cutting straight across you, and it's kind of just a constant crisscross of traffic. Like there's a sea of people just joining. It almost feels like I'm joining there, and then you're back onto the open road. Secondly, we've got junctions. It's the same as anywhere else, turning right is easy. So turning left at a junction is one of life's great challenges here in Vietnam. You can't be guaranteed that you're not going to hit someone. Right now we've been given clearance to turn left. The thing with junctions is there's always going to be stuff coming the other way, so it's kind of just making your way through, like It's not very organised at all. Then you have traffic lights where you have a countdown for how long it's going to be, and usually in the 30-second timer that you get, tens of bikes that pull up next to you, and then it almost feels like a Grand Prix start when you go away.
And in amongst all that madness, it's staggering what people use those bikes for. Some people use them to take their kids to school, or their dog for a walk. They can be work vans, delivery vehicles, a bed perhaps. Meanwhile, others are just casually breaking physics.
The other thing with the road is pedestrians, and it's tricky whether you are on a bike or the pedestrian yourself. Often the traffic will never have a gap in it, so you really do just have to start walking and people will move around you.
I sounded so casual on the bike, but on foot it was a different story.
Simply getting to the other side of the street is an adrenaline-fueled adventure.
You just sort of step out and hope that people see you.
And then finally, we've just got the general busyness of these roads. Sometimes you're just in a sea of people. Some of the driving you see on here is genuinely insane. You always know somebody's about to pull out on you, but nobody gets road rage about it because everybody does it. But this isn't one of those places where you can just assume that the locals will know that you're foreign and kind of give you an extra way. If you're not switched on 100% of the time and reacting to everything and knowing that that person there's going to pull out on you, then you are going to hit them. By the way, some of the stuff I'm doing is ridiculous, but there's nothing that I've done that I've not seen a local do. Well, that's been a lot of fun, but I think I need to head back to the hostel now and get changed because what I'm wearing is not particularly appropriate for where I'm going next. I need to be a little smarter, I think.
Slightly nicer shorts and t-shirt, it's the best I can do.
Off to the next place. Okay, Xin chào.
So for my last activity before I leave Ho Chi Minh, that is where I'm going. All the way up there, 170 meters.
First reaction. Wow. So this is the Saigon Skydeck. It sits on the 49th floor of the Texco Financial Centre, which is a pretty impressive building in itself, to be honest. The views from here are vast. It's completely flat around here, so you can see miles and miles.
There's a huge new district under construction. The river networks are extensive. There's modern structures that put the Western world to shame. But mostly,
It's just a huge, sprawling mess of concrete. Something that is quite striking though is that this building is clearly a very expensive building, and yet right down here you can see what people are living in literally over the road, and to have that proximity to it is yeah, it's a bit of a wake-up call.
yeah, 170 meters is a long way up.
Okay, and that's it for today's video, I guess. If you made it to the end and you've enjoyed the video, consider subscribing below. It's much appreciated. And yeah, see you in the next video. Vamos, driver. With a view to ensuring the safety for visitors at Cu Chi Tunnel, we hereby offer the following rules. One of them is visitors got drunk on alcohol or beer. Oh, you should not go down the tunnel in the following cases. If you're older than 70, don't go in either. Or if you're scared of the dark.